Hey, what's up guys? Mike Patrick. In this video, I want to talk about the continuation of the deforestation of the Amazon, okay? Now, we know that for some time now, the Amazon has been burning, right? And we know they consider the Amazon to be the Earth's lungs, okay? And what is going on is these fires are not natural, okay? So these fires are being started by man. And so what's going on is the president over there is a right-wing president, okay? And he is for the deforestation, the continuation of deforestation of the Amazon, all right? And so big business is over there burning down all of the Amazon in order to be able to plant crops on that land, all right? So that's what's going on over there. And you have a big back and forth going on with the natives of that land and the government, because the natives obviously are being, burnt out. They're being pushed out, all right, along with the animals and the plants that's in the Amazon, okay? Now, from an environmental issue, this is a big deal, okay? This is going to continue to exacerbate global warming. This is going to be a big boost, okay, when it comes to global warming, okay? So the Earth is already warming at an unprecedented rate, as you know already. And the thing is, this is definitely not going to help. This is going to add fuel to the fire. This is big gas. This is big lightning fluid, you know what I mean, on the fire, all right? Because what you have now, how this works is environmentally, is the trees that are being cut down, right? Trees absorb carbon dioxide in the environment and redistributes it as oxygen. We know this, right? So when you knock down all those trees, okay, you're going to be leaving, I guess you could say, leaving a lot of carbon on the table, all right? All that carbon that would have been accounted for, that would have been absorbed by those trees, are not going to be absorbed by those trees now, okay? And that's part of the big deal with global warming, is carbon emissions, okay, and methane, greenhouse gases, you know what I mean? And so, like I said, with the absence of all those trees, that's going to be a lot more carbon in the atmosphere, which is going to, make global warming worse. So that's one issue. And then we know everything is a domino effect. You always hear me say domino effect. So when you talk about global warming, you talk about all the things that come with global warming. What is global warming? Like, is it just the earth heating up, and is it just that much? Is that it? Like, okay, it's going to be hotter outside? No. There's a lot of climate change that goes along with global warming, where it's a domino effect, okay? It's almost like it's an ecosystem, so when one thing is affected, it affects other things, okay? So it's not just about the heat, it's about, how these imbalances affect different aspects of weather and climate, okay? So we know, for example, with global warming, you have rising sea levels, okay? So that means that's going to be, a lot more flooding, okay? And different parts of different land masses going under and things of that nature. So that's just an example. I'm not going to get into every little domino effect that comes from global climate change. You can look into it, right? But the thing is, guys, definitely is going to be a lot more carbon missing those trees, okay? Also, we was talking about how, 20% of, they say 20% of the world's oxygen, is due to, it comes from the Amazon, okay, or the rainforest in general, and the Amazon being one of the big, if not the biggest rainforest on the planet. So now you're just talking about, is it going to be to the point where you can't breathe at all? No, but it could have some effects though. You take 20% of the oxygen out the air, that's kind of a big deal. Okay, so obviously it's going to be oxygen for you to still breathe, but it may make breathing a little harder. All right, so that's another reason to get your health in order, okay, so you can be able to do well with reduced oxygen, okay, because there's enough people that's coughing and wheezing and things like that now, okay, and who feels like in general it's always stuffy, okay, and that's because You know, their body doesn't take in oxygen well for different reasons. So that's another reason to work on your cardio and work on getting oxygen to your blood. I'll talk about things like chlorophyll can help with that. Okay, taking in more oxygen, because the less oxygen you have to work with, okay, the harder it's going to be to breathe. Okay, so it reminds me of like the oxygen mask. Some of you guys may have seen me before with the what they call the God, it escapes me right now, the training mask. Okay, and it's an elevation mask, and it makes it harder for you to breathe. Therefore, you are able to push yourself to levels to where you can get your workout done and work out effectively with less oxygen. And the theory is when you take that off, then you're able to take in more oxygen, and so you should be able to go longer and go harder, because now you are used to training with less oxygen. Okay, at a higher elevation, of training. So that's the idea with that. So that's another big thing though when it comes to people health, man. 20% of the oxygen, out the air. Um, that's kind of a big deal, like I said. But that's one of those things that's kind of like, how do you? It's kind of hard to weigh that. Maybe any given day, you go outside and you like, oh man, it's extra stuffy today. It's extra stuffy. You know what I mean? Like, how do you really gauge that? So, but I'm sure it will have an effect. And I'm thinking it'll have an effect beyond just, breathing for people. Just the whatever else that will be affected by the fact that 20% less of the oxygen is in the air. I'm sure that's going to have its play on things. All right. Another thing, guys, they say like out of the world's 10 million known species, right? They say that like half of them live in the Amazon. Okay, so when you talk about ecosystem, same thing with plants. They say like, matter of fact, it may be the other way around. It's either 10 million of the world's known plants, either half of those are in the Amazon, or I may have it right the first time with 10 million, half of the 10 million known animals on the planet is in the Amazon. Either way, a lot of plants and a lot of animals reside in the Amazon. Okay, and so what happens in the Amazon, this ain't Vegas. It don't just stay in the Amazon. Okay, so for people who think like, oh, well, those animals in the Amazon, that doesn't affect us over here or whatever. If I'm in America or Europe, wherever you may be, okay, Asia, no, it does. Okay, because that stuff, domino effect again, right? That stuff has its way of making its way all around the world. The effects of it has its way of making its way all around the world. Okay, so when you wipe out or you push, because for example, those animals got to go somewhere, right? A lot of them might be killed, get caught up in the fire, and then a lot of them, they're just going to be pushed out somewhere else. So that's going to have an effect. Okay, and then you have animals that's used to a certain environment when it comes to climate and things of that nature. Now they're going to have to be pushed out somewhere else. Okay, these things, they're not talked about that much, but these are things that have to be accounted for. That's inevitable, and that's real, and it's going to have to be accounted for. Where are all those animals in the Amazon going to go? Okay, same thing with plant life. You have a lot of plant life that's going to be destroyed, that's in the Amazon. Okay, and that'll have a lot to do with the CO2 levels. Okay, and other things. Okay, so something, I think it's a lot of water out there. It has a lot to do with water and precipitation, all across the world. So this is not just things that's going to affect that immediate area. This will affect the earth. Okay, and so this is another testimony. I try to be a balanced person, holistic. I try not to be overly kumbaya, peace, love, and light, and and holistic, like that. I try to be as much of a regular guy as I can, but at the same time, in doing so, I don't try to sacrifice other people. So I do try to be positive. What I mean, love, light. What I mean, health, fitness. All of these things, because these are things that's going to help influence people in a positive manner. I know a lot of people may think it's corny and things like that. I know it's a lot cooler. Maybe if I was endorsing different things, maybe it'd be cooler. So I get it. But these things do affect us, guys. So you know, I just wanted to, you know, chop it up a little bit about that, about what's going on in the Amazon, because this will exacerbate, like I said, climate change, okay? And so just keep your eyes on things like that, all right? And stay versed on what's going on in the world, you know, because whatever goes on in the world eventually affects you as an individual. Okay, guys? So stay healthy, you know, keep striving to be the best you can be. Stay positive, stay strong. Peace, and see y'all in the next one.